Okay, you have your NFL Week 15 predictions. We're filming this after the morning game, so I don't know all the results yet. But you have your first game, the Ravens versus the Browns. Ravens coming off not a great win over the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Browns coming off a loss against the Bengals. The Browns, their run game just has not been good. Watson was all right. Their passing game was all right. Their defense tried to hold the Bengals but couldn't. While the Ravens, their defense played all right, but it was the Pittsburgh offense that was horrible, and the Ravens offense couldn't really get going either. Browns this season has had a good run game, but these last couple of weeks have not been in the Ravens right now. Their defense is getting healthier. Their offense is not. This one I think is going to be a good game. I'm going to take the upside. I got to take the Browns. And the Bills versus the Dolphins. Dolphins play on Sunday night. Bills coming off a win against the Jets. Bills offense did not look good versus the Jets. Their defense looked great, but their offense did not. The Dolphins, even after that loss against the Niners, they saw one of the more explosive offenses, and their defense is not that good, gives up a lot of points. And this one I think is going to be a Saturday night game, and Bills have home field advantage, so I got to take them. Then you have the Texans versus the Chiefs. Texans just lost a close one to the Cowboys. Chiefs play right now, and you have one of the worst teams. The Texans, like a Super Bowl contender. I gotta take the Chiefs here. Then you have the Titans versus the Chargers. Chargers play on Sunday night against the Dolphins, and the Titans come off a loss against the Jaguars. Titans defense just could not hold Trevor Lawrence and that Jaguars offense. Derrick Henry actually had a good bounce back game, but that did not result in points. Chargers, they can be explosive at times with Herbert, but right now their team is way too injured, especially their defense, which I think is ranked really bad. And the Titans defense has been overall good, just wasn't good last week. I think they bounced back, and Derrick Henry should have a field day. So I gotta take the Titans here. So this is definitely an upset game. Then you have the Raiders versus the Patriots. Raiders coming off a loss against the Rams on Thursday night, game they really should have won, and the Patriots play on Monday night against the Cardinals. And Raiders, they have a lot of talent, they just can't get it together against the Rams. They choked. Before that, they were on a 3-game winning streak where their offense was looking good. But in the Patriots, their defense is great. Their offense is not. But Bill Belichick, I think, will do good against a not a good coached Raiders team. So I gotta take the Patriots. Then you have the Vikings versus the Colts. Colts coming off a bye. Vikings coming off a loss against the Lions. Vikings defense could not do a thing against the Lions. They got torched all day by Jared Goff. Vikings offense started out slow, but did well against the Lions, and the Ravens offense. Just the Vikings offense has been doing great. Their defense has not. The Colts, similarly, their defense and offense are both just below average right now. But I gotta take the Vikings here. Okay, then you have the Carolina Panthers versus the Steelers. So the Panthers come off a upset win over the Seahawks, while the Steelers, coming off a loss against the Ravens. The Steelers defense did well against the banged up Ravens offense. Without Pickett, the Steelers offense was just horrible. And the Panthers had a good game versus the Seahawks. Their defense did well, had 2 picks on Geno Smith. Their offense, even though the Seahawks is not a great team, not a great defense. The Panthers offense still had a great game. Darnold had a good game. And this one, both teams are kind of average right now, but since Mitchell Trubisky is starting, I got to take the Panthers here. Okay, then you have the Jaguars versus the Cowboys. Jaguars are coming off a win against the Titans, are hot right now. Trevor Lawrence having a great stretch of games. Zay Jones had another great game. ETN was shut down again against the Titans defense. So if they want to win, they have to get their run game going. The Jaguars defense did not do great, though. They did slow down Tannehill, but they could not contain Derrick Henry, and one because Derrick Henry had 2 fumbles. And the Cowboys, they had a close win versus the Texans, but Cowboys run game did really well, and I think that's one of the weaknesses on the Jaguars defense being that Cowboys run game. Dak Prescott, if he doesn't throw too many picks, I think the Cowboys will have this game. Then you have the Jets versus the Lions. Jets coming off a loss against the Bills, and the Lions come off and win over the Vikings. The Lions offense just did great versus the Vikings. Jared Goff had a great game. Swift and Williams also had a good game. The Lions defense did not do good though. They let up a lot of yardage to Kirk Cousins. They did contain Derrick Henry, which was good. But Lions right now, their offense is doing great. Their defense really is not. While the Jets, not sure how Mike White is going to do. Their defense did well against the Bills, but they did lose Quinnen Williams. Um, I'm not sure if Mike White will be starting this or not. And actually, I'm going to take the upside. I got to take the Lions here. They're a hot team. Then you have the Broncos versus the Cardinals. Both teams might not have their quarterbacks this week. Broncos coming off a close loss to Chiefs where they actually found their offense, while the Cardinals, they currently play against the Patriots. Kyler Murray is injured. The Cardinals' defense is slightly above average. Their offense hasn't been great this season. While the Broncos, their offense has been horrible this season, but last week against the Chiefs, they look great. Their defense has played really, really well. And even though I like Colt McCoy over whoever that Broncos backup is, I gotta take the Broncos defense here, so I'm gonna take them. And I am the Broncos have home field advantage. Then you have the Buccaneers versus the Bengals. The Buccaneers coming off a loss, just a blowout loss to the Niners, while the Bengals coming off a win versus the Browns. Bengals, not sure if they're going to get Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins back, but against the Browns, Joe Mixon had a decent game. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that connection is back. And Bengals defense to me is very underrated. They shut down Nick Chubb again, which Nick Chubb really has not done well these last 4 weeks, but still. Bengals defense has been playing well this season, and the Buccaneers, on the other hand, their offense has not looked good. Their defense could not stop Brock Purdy or the Niners' offense, which has looked really good these last couple of weeks. But the Buccaneers' offensive line is terrible, and against a good team like good defensive team like the Bengals, who also have a very good offense, I'm going to take the Bengals here. Then you have the Seahawks versus the Niners. Thursday night, a very interesting game. The Niners are definitely the hot team right now, beating the Bucks, blowing them out. Brock Purdy, even though he's been good, he hasn't really done much. The Niners have a ton of talent on that offense, and that defense definitely number one, doing really well. The Seahawks coming off a loss against the Panthers. Geno Smith did not coming off his best game, and I'm not sure if Walker's going to be back for this game, but they couldn't really run against the Panthers, and the Seahawks defense is not going to be good. But this is a divisional game. Seahawks do have home field advantage, so I'm going to take the upside. I'm going to take the Seahawks here. Then you have the Saints versus the Falcons, both coming off byes. Both are painfully mediocre. I'm just going to take the Saints here, home field advantage. Then you have another Commanders versus the Giants. Commanders come off a bye while the Giants just getting bulldozed by the Eagles. The Giants, without Saquon, having a good game, they just can't seem to be winning. And these aren't just like close losses; these are losses. Their defense could not contain the Eagles at all. They are not very good right now. The Commanders come off a bye. Their defense has been playing a lot better. Tyler Heineke has had his moments, and right now I gotta go with the hot team. I gotta take the Commanders. Then you have the Bears versus the Eagles. Eagles definitely looking a Super Bowl contender. Completely blew out the Giants' offense. Defense is great. The Bears coming off a bye and they have home field advantage and Justin Fields. I think this was definitely a trap game for the Eagles, but I'm still taking the Eagles here. You have a Monday nighter, Packers versus the Rams. Both teams failed expectations miserably. The Rams, they are coming off a win, and Baker Mayfield did look good, but their defense this season just has not been that good, and their offensive line has not been that good. And the Packers defense, even though it has not been good as advertised, they have had an average-ish season, and their offense just not that good. But they do have home field advantage on a Monday nighter. It's going to be cold up there in Green Bay, and Rams have to travel all the way across the country. I gotta take the Packers here. So there you have it, my NFL Week 15 predictions.